You know, it's always amazing to me how people can twist things to change a very clear-cut story into a completely different narrative. They like to say that I snitched. I turned state's evidence, and that's the only reason. But the reality is that I got entwined with a criminal, that I escaped, and I went to the police, and I openly told them everything because I was afraid, because this criminal was going to kill me. He was also going to kill my grandmother. When I escaped from him, when I got away from him, the first place he went when he realized I was gone was to my grandmother's. He was going to kill her the moment he realized I had left. And the only thing that saved her was the fact that she was in the hospital at the time. And he went to the hospital, but I had already gotten to the police, and they had security stationed at her door. Y'all think you understand, and you really have no idea. You don't know how scared I was when the murder happened. You don't know how scared I was 5 weeks later, the night I escaped and went to the police. You don't understand every second took so long when I was walking down that road, jumping into the dirt every time I saw a headlight, thinking it must be him, he's gonna find me, he's coming. I went somewhere where I knew he didn't know where to look. And yeah, I didn't know what to do. I was terrified. I was sure that he was going to find me, and even if he didn't, he had friends. He told me, he had me convinced that he had friends that would find me if I turned him in. And apparently he did. The people targeting me have already admitted that they are his friends. They write him letters, they send him money. One of them admitted to being in the house while the murder happened. I wasn't even in the house while the murder happened, but somebody in this group was. They got out through a back door. I never saw them. I never knew there was another person involved, but they said so. They've admitted it. They were very clear. You know, they said that that's how they were going to put me in prison, because they were in the house and they knew what happened, and so they were going to go. They didn't go to the police because they didn't want to get in trouble themselves because they were there. But there's people in this group that have already established that they're doing what they're doing because they were friends with him, and they're trying to get justice, what they call justice, for somebody that I put in prison. He was going to kill me. I knew he would because he had already killed somebody else. I was 23 and very naive because I had been raised in a home with a violent man. My father was extremely violent. My brother was born handicapped from my father's violence. He eventually killed himself while being violent to my mother. He was a violent motherfucker. And I was unable to gauge the level of evil I was in until after somebody was dead and buried in the backyard, and I needed to survive. Y'all don't understand. You can't possibly understand. My own family doesn't understand. But it's so wild to me how people twist things to make their narrative run, to make their narrative work. But I guess in your lingo, yeah, I snitched. I snitched out a murderer that was going to kill me. And my life has been in danger since because he has friends that are going to eventually kill me.